What's up, everyone? This is Xavier, your host, and welcome to the 210 Stockyard. You guys might have noticed that 2 days after the Brahmas first lost against the St. Louis Battlehawks, that they released their Vice President of Business and Event Operations, Mike Sheehan. Now, when this first came out, there was a lot of negativity, and in fact, there still is a lot of negativity because we just don't know why. So here's an article here from MySA. It's an online news source, and they reported, and by the way, the news reports that came out about this were just all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and show you why here. All right, so just stay with me. So again, MySA released this headline that the San Antonio Brahmas reportedly fired vice president after the first XFL game. So in this article here, the XFL's Vice President of Communications, Jeff Alstatter, confirmed that Mike Sheehan is no longer an XFL employee. But this specific news source goes on to quote him saying that this was a personal matter. So they really can't comment on that. Now, when I hear that, personal, I think maybe it's a health issue that he's having, maybe even something to the effect of marital problems or trouble at home. Again, it's personal, so we just don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and you're not entitled to know. But here's the problem with this. It wasn't a personal matter, and I'm going to show you guys what it was here in a second. So that's one fact check that I had to bring up. Now, this could have just been a typo or spelling error, but check out this next article that I saw. Now, this is a tweet from Don Harris, who works for local news here in San Antonio, WOAI, and he states that the San Antonio Brahmas general manager Mike Sheehan has been relieved of his duties, and then goes on and says something stupid like, is this the AAF all over again? No, Don, it's not. This situation has nothing to do with a partner bailing out on the entire league, okay? This is a different matter. Matter of fact, another Twitter or news source, if you will, the XFL News Hub, reported something similar, and they had to come out and kind of make an addendum to their previous tweet, and they wrote this, that despite reports that the Brahmas' Mike Sheehan was the GM, that is false. He was their VP of Business and Event Operations. The Director of Player Personnel is Will Lewis, so it's someone totally different. So let's at least get his title right, guys. It looks like they finally did. Local news source, the San Antonio Express News, has this headline that finally got it right. The San Antonio Brahmas fire Vice President of Business and Event Operations. Just 2 days after San Antonio played their debut game, Vice President of Business and Event Operations Mike Sheehan has been fired, they confirmed. But here's the kicker. Here's what stood out to me. This one lists it as a personnel issue, not personal, but personnel, okay? So you're probably asking, okay, well, what's the difference between the two? All right, so I Googled it for you guys that couldn't do it on your own. So according to Google, personnel matter means the discussion of hiring, promotion, demotion, dismissal, assignment or resignation of or the investigation or consideration of complaints or charges against any employee. Okay, so now it's getting serious, all right? Now, the four common most examples of personnel issues are going to be harassment, which for me, first thing that comes to mind is sexual harassment, okay? 2, discrimination, so obviously discriminating against a minority. 3, theft, and 4, violence. So these 4 categories a business does not want to be involved in, especially a new business or a new team like the San Antonio Brahmas, and right before their first game. Now, when I first saw that Mike Sheehan had been released, I honestly thought it was because of performance. So I went ahead and looked up his resume, his profile on LinkedIn Online, just to see, what did this guy do? What are his qualifications? So he has worked with, expanding professional sports franchises such as the Seattle Seahawks, the Dallas Mavericks, the Seattle Mariners, and a rugby team in Texas that I've never heard of. But then he also goes on to boast and says that he's fully proficient in tactical marketing, digital marketing, community building, which I did not see a lot of for the Brahmas, at least not from him. In stadium advertising again, which I did not see a lot of. I went to the home opener, and the only advertising you really saw was for the energy drink of the XFL Zoa. But other than that, I really didn't notice a whole lot of other outside advertising. Sponsorship and promotions again, which I saw very little or none of. And then vendor and charitable tie-ins, which again I saw nothing that he did personally. There are local groups that have done community events already, But yeah, I saw nothing from Mike Sheehan. So I figured maybe that's why he was let go. And in fact, if you look at the marketing, I didn't even see advertisements for XFL games or tickets till maybe about 2 weeks before the season started. And when it did come out, this is what it looked like. So on the left, you see a graphic here. This is a Facebook one, and on the right's one from Instagram. But from the outside looking in, if you don't know anything about football or the XFL, you have no idea what this is. I even had people like my mom, who's over 60 years old, tell me that, oh yeah, I saw something like that, but I didn't know what it was. So you're just going to swipe right past it. I mean, if you're not paying attention, you don't even notice the small XFL at the bottom. And even the XFL's own advertising is very similar. It just shows you, the team graphics or logos, tickets on sale, but you don't know tickets for what. Is this a movie? Is this a band? I mean, I see logos. Is this a video game? So, I mean, give me something to allude to the fact that this is a football advertisement. I mean, put a football field, a field goal post, a helmet, an actual football. Just do a little more. So, but I thought it was because of maybe bad advertising is why they let him go. But then I also realized something. Here is a picture of the team captains that were announced the day after the 51-man rosters were officially set. So it was at February 10th. And on the far right, you'll notice this guy here, number 41, is Joel DeBlanco. Inside linebacker, he was named captain on defense. I noticed he didn't play in the first game, which was a little curious to me. I mean, did he get injured beforehand? He wasn't on the reserve list. So just to check myself, I went ahead and looked at the roster for that day. And every single defensive player recorded a stat or even a half stat with the exception of DeBlanco. So he definitely did not play at that game. So it was very odd to see that the team captain on defense didn't play in the home opener and wasn't injured. And then 2 days later, you see this. San Antonio Brahmas released captain Joel DeBlanco. And once again, it was just 8 days after being named one of the San Antonio Brahmas' 2 team captains on defense. He has been released on Wednesday. And once again, we see this word pop up. They called it a personnel decision. So that's what's going on with the team. It's a personnel issue that they're not going to comment on. Obviously, because of the nature of it, it's got to be something bad. I don't know if these 2 guys got into it with each other or if they're both involved in some kind of altercation against someone else or a claim or accusation against someone else. But it was obviously serious enough for the team to pay attention to it and take measures that they believed were beneficial to the team by releasing both DeBlanco and Sheehan. And while we still don't know exactly what happened, we can definitely infer that it wasn't something good. Probably embarrassing and detrimental to the team. Something that's going to involve, again, one of those 4 categories, either harassment, discrimination, theft, or violence. I didn't see any clues or indicators on social medias for either Joel or Mike. I tried. I just wanted to put this small video out just to quiet and calm down again all the negativity that you constantly see over the smallest things. Again, just because the vice president was let go doesn't mean the league is already failing or doomed to fail. This had nothing to do with the performance of the league, or I'm assuming with the performance of the team. Again, as noted by multiple sources, this is a personnel issue. So everyone can relax. I hope they figure it out, whatever it was, and then I just hope that we can all move on and have a positive remainder of the season. And tell you what, you guys tell me what you think is going on or what might have happened. I'm really curious to see what scenarios everyone comes up with, and we'll see which one's more plausible. But that's my little rant. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And as always, horns forward.